Hey now, it's Mike Gilbert, host of the Mike and JD Show, right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Join JD by God Oliva and myself every Thursday night live on the Voices of Wrestling YouTube channel at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as we stay up all night discussing all the hottest stories in professional wrestling. You can also check us out right here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting feed, or you can subscribe to the Mike and JD Show feed. Now, enjoy the show.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm John, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Wednesday, the 1st of January 2025. This is episode 343. Happy New Year, Damon. How are you enjoying your festive period?
Good job by you with the kayfabe and the kids on on New Year's. That was a very smart move. We were talking about that, the logistics of that. The kids stayed up, but they did not.
I need that on a T-shirt. We've definitely said that before, kayfabe and the kids.
Yeah, okay. Yes, and that is we are in dire need of new designs for T-shirts. It was good. We had people at the bar. We had about 10 people over and above Cheryl and myself. Good food. We got a bunch of Korean delicacies. So we had that whole big spread, and of course all the drinking and all the fun and frivolities. And we have year-end awards. Every year we have year-end awards because people keep track of funny things that are said throughout the year, and they're compiled, and we give out awards like these Oscars. It's fantastic.
Did you get Pete Donahue to make a Google form for that? Or
yes,
I got involved this year.
Now this was all Cheryl's doing, and the joys of Apple Notes. They're just taking notes, and it's funny because she'll just the winner of this award of saying blah 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 blah. And she reads back the quotes, and some of them are just fucking great. I got some funny friends. But we had a good time. Got probably the festivities finally ended probably like around 2:30. And then I finally got to bed around 3:30 and slept till noon. I was like, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was good. Cheryl took care of me. She cleaned the bar. I woke up. She was like, yeah, it's already done. I already took care of it for you. Oh, my God, you're a sweetheart. Loved it. That was a good way to start the fucking year. I didn't have to clean the bar. That was fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you what I've received. I know you obviously sent me a brand new Ambernic gaming device. Oh, can I just tell you one little thing before I start into this other tangent?
Yes.
We went to visit this petting zoo basically, and there's a little gift shop in there, and I said to the kids that they could both choose one toy from the gift shop. You know those little sort of water games where you press the button and it squirts a little jet of air and you try and get the little plastic hoops onto. Yeah. So Arthur chose one of those, and it was shaped like the same shape as the Ambernic device you sent me, and now he's calling it his Ambernic. I've got my Ambernic. I've got an Ambernic, Daddy. So cute. It's awesome. And the second thing is, so you sent me that free Ambernic device, and my friend Sam has also given me a free PlayStation 4. So guess what I've been playing?
Shamu?
Correct. First guess, you nailed it. And playing it with the children, and they love it.
No.
It's their favourite.
Oh.
We've been completely sidetracked from sort of the Critical Path storyline. We just do the same stuff every day. So Arthur likes it when Dior Hazuki gets woken up by the alarm clock. He loves the alarm clock, and then we'll go and pet the kitten, give it some milk, go to the shop, buy some soft drinks from the machine, get some Sonic capsule toys, go to the arcades. They love it. And it's a really enjoyable experience, even if you don't engage with any of the plot elements whatsoever.
How's their forklift driving?
I haven't got that far yet. We're never going to get there, Damon. We'll never get to that part of the story because I'm choosing to roleplay Shenmue this time as a pacifist, the guy. So instead of the usual sort of violent quest for revenge,
Sure.
Dio's playing it as a guy who's just letting it go. He's like, no, that's okay, because he knows that when you seek revenge, you dig two graves. So he's not going down that road. He's just going to let it go and make peace with it. So yeah, this is brilliant.
This is fantastic. It's turned into a wonderful parenting tool. I mean, when you popped it on, were you a little nervous in the sense of, all right, this thing means a lot to me, and I know it's nonsense, but I hope they like it. And then they did latch onto it, and like, is there like a part of you that's just like, oh, the circle of life is complete?
Yes, but it also comes with a dangerous element, which is it's starting to kindle a curiosity and, dare I say, an interest in Japanese culture.
Ooh.
And dare I say, desire for a trip to Japan in the future.
Ooh.
That's where my mind is going with this, Damon.
Educational.
Saving up those Patreon monies for maybe a cheeky little trip next year to see the retirement of Mr. H. Tanahashi. Bring the family along. Who knows? Who knows where it will take us? You
know what? That sounds like a wonderful thing. We might have to have a couple pints when I arrive this summer. And we'll have that might be a focal point of conversation. All right, that might be okay. This is happening, right?
It's been long enough.
I like that. What's that?
It's been long enough.
Yeah. And even Cheryl's kind of like, I'm kind of looking to go. Like, we would be either last night or like early morning today is usually the day I would fly out. So, like, literally right now, I would be on a plane flying over right around Canada, somewhere flying over Saskatchewan right now. It's been a while. I mean, the last time we were there, 2020, that's a while. That's a while. All right. Look, it's a big deal, big retirement show. I think. You want to say it right now? We're going.
Let's see how many people subscribe to the $10 tier. In the Patreon
right. But you have 4 tickets. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit
yes,
more
exactly.
To consider. Yeah, to lay down a commitment like that. All right. But yeah, let's put it this way. How about I'll give you 60-40. How about that? I'm 60-40.
Yeah, I put myself in the same boat.
All right. Sounds good. And then as we get along, maybe, some financial windfalls come our way, and boom, we're there. Maybe I can get a sugar daddy to pay for our first little business class.
Yeah. we need to make some calls.
Yeah, we need to
we're both thinking of the same person.
We sure are. I gotta. As a matter of fact, I gotta return a phone call sometime this week. Maybe I gotta blame it on the ADHD and be like, sorry. Fucking forgot.
I have a disability. Actually, you're not allowed to be cross with me.
Yeah. All right. Fingers crossed. All right. So where do you want to go first? Being that this is the preview of the biggest show in New Japan's calendar, you want to talk about anything else first, or do you want to jump right in?
Well, Damon, I've got a question actually. Now that you've said that, from Pep's Water Burner, who says, "No talk about Noah New Year." Nope. Let's get straight into Wrestle Kingdom, baby. And there are a lot of high quality, I mean it, like really great Wrestle Kingdom previews in the New Japan podcast community this week. There's the annual Keeping It Strong style preview with Chris Samsa. They've been doing that, I think, 6 years in a row with Chris on there. Great stuff as always. Wrestle Stiffmas, that's like, I don't know, it's like 11 hours or something insane like that. They're talking to all manner of people, including myself. So I had to have a really long, hard think and choose for our Wrestle Kingdom preview the 2 smartest, most insightful, funniest, and best-looking people to break down Wrestle Kingdom 19. Joel Abraham, Damon Effin McDonald. It's us, Damon. We're the best. So no need to call anyone else. No need to get any guests on. No need to pad this out. Strap in. This is big boy time. Happy bloody New Year. Let's do this.
Let's fucking go. Big show time, big time feel. I think everybody's getting pumped up. Yeah, and we don't need anybody else. At least not this year. We said, fuck that noise. We're doing it ourselves. Because as you said so eloquently, why would we need anyone else? They come to us. The people come to us, Joel, and give us the information. And then the people come to us for the answers. We're just the lightning rod that we're the straw that stirs the drink. Ugh. All right, shut us up. All right,
Mike in the chat. Mike CC says no Omos chat. So yeah, no, sorry, we're not going to be analysing and prognosticating on. I'm sure he's going to, he will elevate Noah to be true rivals to New Japan Pro Wrestling this year. But no, I've not got any notes to discuss about Omos joining.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, here's the thing.
You don't know who that is, do you?
I don't, but I did see in passing a quick glance at some results. So yeah, I mean, it's not on my radar. That's for fucking and truth be told, I didn't see that. Haven't seen. What was the last AEW show? I didn't see that with Okada and Ospreay.
Yeah, the one where he decided to actually start trying. No, I've not watched it either, but. Okay. I've reliably informed that Okada and Ospreay had a really good tournament final match, and I'm supposed to be shocked, like, oh my god, I can't believe it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's spectacular. It's just, truth be told, and not to use an excuse, but I barely had time to friggin' do anything. It feels like so.
Well, they're just copying from the superior products, aren't they?
Look, they know if they know the talent that they have, that if they want to have a good match, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. Yeah, but I feel like I got to catch that because, number one, it doesn't even matter what anyone says. If anyone could say that's great, of course it's great. Yes, no, unless both of them have like severe diarrhea. And even then, I'd watch that even more intently. Right? Not only is it a great match. Right?
Both of the guys take a load of laxatives first. That would have been a great KOPW stipulation match. I've really missed the trick there, shutting it down before doing the diarrhea death match.
Come on, Cooch, get on that. How can you miss up that one? Yeah, I would actually be watching it with even on the edge of my seat, waiting for accidents to happen. It'd be wonderful. What are we talking about? What does our show become? We are just the two dopes. Oh, I love it. This is the big show of the year. This is one of the ones more people listen to. We have to be good.
Yeah. All right. Let's do the serious stuff. Right. This is the eating your vegetables portion of the podcast. So I'm holding my nose and doing this. So just quick talk about tickets. So last year did 27,422. This year, the prognostications were expecting around just slightly lower than that, about 25k for January 4th, and about 3/4 of that for January 5th. So I don't know, that would be around 18k. Would you see that as a disappointment, considering that the show is on a Saturday, or do you think that is par for the course, considering the talent that have left the company since last year's Wrestle Kingdom?
I think all the above, to be quite honest. But I think that it plays to New Japan's favor that it's a weekend show, because the feel like missing out crowd might be like, you know what, fuck it, let's just go to the Dome show, right? So I would hope that would lend itself to a bigger walk-up sale. So I'd be curious to see, like, I don't know, like queues at the New Japan store, or the day of that at the Dome itself, and that line that wraps around for people looking to get tickets. I'd be curious to see that. Like, that's going to. Let's put it this way. I don't think the story is fully written. While advanced sales might be a little bit down comparatively to last year, I think the one thing, the ace up our sleeve, pardon the pun, is the fact that it is a weekend show. So, and hopefully, if weather's decent. I don't think weather is a factor, to be honest with you. People go. If they want to go, they'll go. They'll put on a fucking pair of boots and a slicker, and they'll get out there. So, I think walk up will be good. I think we'll probably be I'd be pretty happy if we were even. Like, if we were the same as last year, I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't have a problem. All things considered, the people that we did lose and the people that we're trying to elevate, and again, that does take time, no matter what anyone says. I'd be happy if we broke even. I really would.
Yeah, I think there were some incidents last year that hindered the walk up sales. So maybe they'll do a decent walk up number this year. But now the boring yucky ticket discussion is out of the way. I just want to do sort of a vibe check with you, Damon, because we've been talking about it for a long time, and a few questions that might spark some discussion. So JD Summer says this year's Wrestle Kingdom is all about new guys. It's not the Wrestle Kingdom of glory days of New Japan, but it's completely new and pressure is on everyone. Do you think this year Wrestle Kingdom delivers the same amount of quality and performance compared to all the previous years? And Louis says, are we at that point in New Japan history where this Wrestle Kingdom feels extra special in the way it will show us what the future will be like for the company going into 2025? So, yeah, just what's your vibes at the moment, Damon? Is the buzz buzzable?
I think the buzz is buzzable. I mean, I feel like it might have taken me a little bit more time, and as we get closer, I'm a little bit more excited. And as the days pass and we get closer and closer, I think my excitement level goes up. Right. While I agree, I mean, you just go up and down the lineup and you see names where 2 years ago we were like, okay, these are the new guys. These are the stars that the company is going to depend on for now and forever. Not forevermore, but the foreseeable future. Even with that said, though, there are still plenty of names that are at the top of the lineup. You still have Hiroshi Tanahashi, while not in like the highest of marquee matches. It's still a marquee match, I would think. Lumberjack, again, the steps of if Tanahashi loses, he's got to retire. Which okay. So I mean, Evil's been near the top before when it comes to dome shows. Obviously, Tanahashi's been at the very top. Shingo has been at the top of the card on the dome. Despy has been in situations where he's been able to shine at the dome, and once again this year. And even you still got Naito. You still have Hiromu. You still have Zach. You still have you still have David Finlay. And I know some people might tongue in cheek that, but you still have David Finlay, who's been in pretty sizable spots on Wrestle Kingdom shows. So while I think a lot of the focus is on your Shotas and your Sujis and even like Takesha and Ren Narita, there's plenty still there where there's a solid foundation of people that you can still rely upon to have those great Wrestle Kingdom matches. And then there's another element of, okay, this is what we've been waiting for, and an excitement. And okay, we're while it is a constant build and a constant add layers to the cake kind of thing for a lot of guys, this is a big hunk of cake, right? That has now been dropped on their plate. They are being asked, as of this show, to be the focal point of this promotion. So, yeah, to answer the question, I'm pumped for it. It's exciting because while it might not be a thing where you're going into it with the expectations of, okay, this is going to be great because it's this match, this match, this match, and this match. And we all know that these are proven commodities that can fucking deliver at the highest quality. Here, we have the feeling that it can be, it could be, but we're unsure. There's a million and one questions that, truth be told, these questions are going to be answered when we turn off the show, on January 4th. Like that's what the exciting part is that for 2, 3, 4 years, we've all had questions, we've all had doubts, we've all had things that have swayed our decisions in being more positive or more negative on certain. This is it. This is a plant the flag in the fucking ground moment of, okay, can these guys be relied upon to be stars of this company in the future. And this is, to me, this is each of their biggest tests. And we've had, guys main event, individual shows and let's be honest here. This is collectively the biggest spot all four of them have been, or five, no matter how many people you want to put in that list, that we've asked of these guys to be the guys. And that's an exciting thing because there's plenty of unknowns and plenty of questions that are going to get answered in just a few days.
Yeah, this is on paper, I think, an extremely strong card. And I think the best they could have done, and I'm not sort of damning with faint praise there, I'm saying the tools they've got at their disposal, I think this is an excellent card. It's a strong mission statement, as you say, to put the next generation in positions to shine. Some of them will swim. Hopefully they all swim. Some of them might sink. We don't know. Like we said, we're sort of working with imperfect information here. And I would say around this season, be wary of the snake oil salesmen who make their agenda to sort of come out the woodwork after the fact and be like, oh, I told you that this guy was going to be rubbish, because there's no value in that. There's no insight in that. There's no intelligence in that, just to sort of throw hot takes out there. Oh, I think this guy's going to fail. So this is going to be like a true acid test for a lot of these guys. And the fact is, we don't know who's going to shine in this situation, who's going to turn into a diamond and who's going to crumble into dust. So to me, it makes it the most exciting Wrestle Kingdom for years because there's so many questions there, like you say, and questions that I'm excited about. I think I'm optimistic that all of these guys are going to rise to the occasion. We're going to come out at the end of this thinking, what a great show. Cannot wait for 2025. And I think there's something to be wary of that. So it did sort of come up in the discussions that I had with Jeff Andrews. We did a bit of audio on the Patreon where he was comparing it to Wrestle Kingdom's gone by and rosters gone by, sort of the 2017 to 2019 glory days. And I think Will in our Discord put a really great quote: comparison is the thief of joy. So don't get yourselves bogged down comparing this roster or this card with the glory era, because that's not going to do you any good, right? It's the same if I did an analogy with Arsenal. The squad we've got at the moment, very promising. We could go and do big things. We don't know. But if I were to compare that with the unbeaten, amazing squad of like 2003, 2004, yeah, I could say, oh, it's not as good as that. But what's the point in that? It doesn't get you anywhere. So I would say let's try and shift the thinking and think forward thinking. Think to the future, because there's a lot of exciting stuff that could happen here. And this is sort of the kickoff point. This is like episode 1 of the new season, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And I think that when you can do that with any sport, and I understand the fact, like if the team that you root for that was really good is now falling apart and they're not necessarily performing or let's just say they're really not performing, like it's just not a good product, right? And trust me, we've had moments in New Japan rather recently where, people are like looking at each other like, what the fuck's happening here? What are we doing? Why are we? And in this day and age, you have so many different choices for your entertainment dollar that it's like, okay, if you're not having fun with it and you're not enjoying it, then people are very quick to boop. All right, I'm out to the next thing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That being said, if you took that golden goose period, if you were to graph, New Japan Pro Wrestling since 1972 to today, January 1st, 2025, and we'll call it the Pro Wrestling Quality Index or whatever the fuck, that peak moment is, those are variants that, a very positive variant, but truth be told, that stretch is not the norm. Let's be very clear. That was some of the greatest pro wrestling of our lifetimes. And that stuff doesn't grow on trees, and you can't just replicate that. And it was a lot of things coming together at the same time. That being said, that's the bar. Like that's wow, that's something to really strive for. But understand that is not the average. That is a positive fluctuation that is well outside the norm if we're graphing New Japan Pro Wrestling throughout its history. There have been goods, there have been bads, and there have been fucking outstandings. And you're right. If you try to compare it to that, I don't know. Like, I just feel like you're setting up for failure. But I understand why that's done, because we love to make lists, right? We love to rank things. There's nothing two guys at a bar don't love more than ranking and naming of old players. Right? There's nothing that we like more. There's the greatest, name the greatest football players that were born in above, wherever. I don't know, fucking London. I don't know. Yeah, but we'd love to do that. So there is the element of we're always going to try to compare and rank, but I think this show is fantastic. I really honestly do. And I really feel like even the extra added little sprinkles and touches that they've added to the show recently, this show is going to be as the kids would say, fire. It's going to be fire. And now it's all depends upon, like on paper, let's put it that way. Now it all depends upon if they can pull it off. It's really where we're at. And there's still a ton of talent on this roster that can make these man. I mean, seriously, you don't think that fucking junior 4-way ladder match, tables, whatever, desks, ottomans, you don't think that's going to be great? That's going to be great. That is going, again, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. It's going to be just go, 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 go. Tanahashi and Evil will be pro wrestling 101, right? Ultimate heel versus ultimate face. Fantastic. And you don't think Shingo and Takeshi will just blow the roof off the joint? I think that would be unbelievably great. And then we haven't even talked about Doki and Despy. We haven't even talked about Naito and Takahashi. And we haven't even talked about Zack and Shota. So, I don't know, man. To me, this and a Rumble that'll decide the number one contender. Wow. An actual event that decides the number one contender. How about that? Which, again...
There's not really bad matches on this card, are there? I mean, your mileage may vary with House of Torture, but even if you don't like them as much as others do, you have to acknowledge that Evil versus Tanahashi is pretty great booking, all things considered, with the long-term storytelling. So there's no fat on this card. I could look at Wrestle Kingdoms in years gone by, even the very best ones, like Wrestle Kingdom 11. Everyone loves that so much. They had a fucking Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole match on it.
Right.
Okay? So there's no weak points here. This is just top to bottom. You get better and better and better. I'm looking at sort of the back end of this, looking at this stretch from basically like the fifth match on with Shingo Takeshita, Doki Despy, Tsuji Finley, Naito Hiromu, Shota Zack. That's got the potential to be, dare I say it, I'm going to whisper it, an all-timer in terms of, top 5 matches for a New Japan show.
Right.
This is so exciting. I can't wait.
You know what I like about it too? That it's kind of low key in the sense of not the wrestler. It's kind of low key in the sense of, yes, there's buzz, and I think that a lot of the New Japan voices are excited, and I think that we are helping to spur that momentum of excitement for others. Right? I really do, and it's not phony. It's. I think everyone across the board is pretty excited for the show for all the reasons that we just said. And these shows that kind of are a little low key, not necessarily like people pulling in their pants over a lineup, even though this lineup is really good, like these will sneakily be some of the greatest shows. And once again, Joel, you know as well as I do, that locker room and those names that we read off, the chips on the fucking shoulders of a lot of these guys that are like, oh, okay. You don't think we got a little something to prove, and I guarantee you there's internal competition of, okay, fuckers, top that. Okay, guys, beat that. And if that healthy competition, look, I don't think I'm talking myself into it at all, because I was already there. I think this has the possibility of being a all-time great show for New Japan. I think this has the opportunity to be one of the most significant shows in New Japan Pro Wrestling history. How's that? I really do.
And listeners, you want to be on the ground floor there, getting on board with the Patreon. $10 tier, live, instant reaction. You won't want to miss that, because I imagine there's going to be a lot to talk about when this show is all said and done. Let's get into it. So, first match on the pre-show, we got the IWGP. Is this on the pre-show? I don't even know, actually. Yes, it is the pre-show. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, number one contenders, New Japan, Rambo. So we've had a little chat about this before. Morning Progress says, is the Rambo a good chance to get a CMLL wrestler into a Dash main event while in Japan, or prefer a vet like Goto get the first shot? So we chatted a bit in previous weeks about who the contenders might be. We're looking at sort of people that have been left off the card, guys like Sanada or Great Khan or Taichi, or people who don't work for New Japan full time. So a lot of questions about not only who wins, but when they would claim this championship opportunity, to use the disgusting WWE parlance. Do you see this as like something happening at New Year's Dash, which would kind of broaden the field, broaden the scope in terms of who could win this? I'm just curious as to what you see of who and when, basically, in terms of your winner, because I'm sort of holding on to the hope that Taichi wins, and then we get the much wanted Taichi versus Zack match at some point in the future, which is not going to happen, but I live in hope more than expectation. Like, imagine Taichi versus Zack as your main event for New Year Dash, for example. Wouldn't that be lovely? But who do you think is winning, and when do you think they would claim that title match?
It would be awesome. What a little stretch of shows for New Japan if we were able to have that at New Year Dash. That would be sexy as fuck. Especially for the people making the trip out there. That'd be wonderful. I would tend to think it would be like a new beginning or something like that. But hey, listen, I got no problem with Dash, because that, again, we're just cramming in some
New
great
beginning
shit.
is a better shout, actually.
What's that?
New Beginning is a better shout. And they're not doing a Sapporo show this year for New Beginning, which would have been the perfect spot for Taichi. But, they love Taichi and Osaka as well, so that could be a good fit there. But yeah, Zack doing 3... again, if he does beat Shota, him doing 3 consecutive title matches on 3 consecutive nights, probably a bit of a stretch. So yeah, New Beginning is possibly more likely.
I'll tell you what, there's one name that is not on this Wrestle Kingdom show that to me sticks out like a sore thumb. And you tell me your feelings of him winning this. Gabe Kidd.
I think he's losing to Kenny Omega, so to spoil my prediction later on. But I'm not sure if you want your number one contender then losing a match the next day. I kind of feel it will be someone who doesn't already have something booked for these 2 shows, because otherwise I feel it gets a bit messy.
It does, but I just can't understand how that guy's not on the show and not in a big spot. And you're right. Listen, the next night does worry me, but if we just take that show, like if he had a good match but lost, would it matter? I don't know.
And on the flip side, if he does come out and win that Rambo, then I'm going to be sitting there thinking, fuck, he's going to beat Kenny Omega. And that immediately increases my excitement going into Wrestle Dynasty.
I don't think that's off the table. As much as we like to make fun of Kenny Omega and how much we like to, throw.
I've never made fun of Kenny Omega in my life, sir. There is definitely not proof of.
I believe we have plenty of proof in recorded form. Yes,
we've got Andrew Rich's stinger. I'd love to insert it now. Kenny's done a thing.
Right. Yeah. I think we have. I think we have a little history. Even with that said, though, I don't think it's completely off the table that Kenny loses. Of all the people that, okay, and again, we don't have to.
Right, let's not get into the Wrestle Dynasty predictions.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, look, that would not. I wouldn't be shocked if he did do that. I'm probably in the camp of it probably won't happen, but okay. But I'm not. I wouldn't be shocked if it did, just because of Kenny Omega understands the idea of pro wrestling, and again, the pro wrestlers are individual people who are in business for themselves for the most part. He's still, I of anybody who would lie down, I think he could. I don't know, and it would mean so much, but we'll see. We'll see about
Save
that.
it. Save it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, let me throw another option. How deflating would it be for you if the winner of this Rambo is Sanada? You know what? Don't answer that. I don't want to kill the vibes. I want your prediction.
Well, I'm going to say this. It's on the table. I'm going to say Gabe Kidd wins. I am going to say Gabe Kidd wins. But the Sonata prediction, it's not far fetched, and which is frightening at that we would say that in 2025. But yeah, it's definitely on the table. Let's put it that way.
First match, IWGP Junior Tag Team 4-Way Tokyo Terror Ladder Match. The champions, the Jet Setters, Intergalactic Jet Setters Kevin Knight and Kushida, defending against the winners of the Super Junior Tag League, the Ichiban Sweet Boys from TMDK, Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles, and challengers Catch 2-2, Francesco Akira and TJP, and the Bullet Club War Dogs, Driller Maloney and Clark Connors. A lot of chat going around this one, people saying, I hope these guys stay safe and don't do anything crazy. Not me. I hope they go completely mental. I hope they do the most unsafe things. I hope they're flinging themselves off the top of the Tokyo Dome for my personal entertainment. In terms of the outcome here, I just really want to see. I think there is a lot of juice in a Jet Setters versus Ichiban Sweet Boys 2-on-2 match for those titles. That's something I would love to see for New Beginning. So I think I will say Fujita and Eagles to win, and I think that'll be a really nice moment for Fujita and a great sort of mission statement to kick off Wrestle Kingdom, showing one of these guys from the next generation holding an IWGP championship belt, and then that can sort of pivot us into Kevin Knight and Kushida saying, something like, we didn't necessarily lose the titles, you didn't pin us, blah blah blah, whatever, and have a rematch or something down the line. But yeah, I just basically want to see some fucking mayhem here. And I would just love to be a fly on the wall when they're laying the match out. I want to see them sort of pitching ideas to each other. I don't know, like Driller Maloney saying to, I don't know, Kushida, right, Kushida, you climb to the top of the ladder, I'm going to push you off and you go through a stack of 6 ladders. And Kushida understands perfectly. He's like, sorry, no speak English. Right, yeah. I hold ladder, okay?
No.
Very Japanese way of saying no without saying no.
Yeah. That is. I speak fluent Japanese. What did we get clarity on Kevin Knight? I know that good old SRS.
Oh, God, okay, yeah. So let's get this out of the way. Everyone's contract, all the foreigners, their contract is expiring very soon. And oh my God, what a panic. They might leave for another company. I hope New Japan pay them lots of money. They can't afford to let this guy go. You can isolate the audio and insert it into next year's episode at roughly the same time of year.
Right.
Because, yeah, we do this little dance every year. And I just said on Twitter, can some of the wrestlers just change it up a bit and go into my DMs? I'll put it out there. Don't just go straight to Sean Ross Sapp all the time. Let's just mix it up a bit.
Yeah. we get enough people yapping away at us. Let's give us some goods. But here's the thing too. I don't know. If we reached out to a bunch of people, we could probably be like, "Hey, how's your contract situation?" And
it would be more of a story if their contract wasn't expiring in January. This is how New Japan do things.
Yeah.
News at 11. I don't understand what the discussion is there.
I just think people worry, and they have, and here's the thing, rightfully so. I think that they're like, okay, is my new favorite pro wrestler now going away? Right?
It's always been like that.
I know, Damon, but it sucks.
Even more so these days because of the exchange rate.
Yeah,
there's nothing. I really don't think there's anything New Japan could do if there's a talented wrestler who's getting offers from other companies. New Japan can't match that. So I've made my peace with that, and it might be one of these guys who's getting their name out there with their contract expiring, but probably not. Right? They're probably all going to re-sign for New Japan. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I don't see any of these guys being a guy that either company has a hard on for. Do you? Like, I don't think anybody's like knocking down Evil's door, to get a contract in his face.
And if it was someone like Tony Khan was interested in, we'd know about it. They'd be all over Dynamite.
Yeah, I know. It would already be announced.
That's not to say that won't change in the future. I mean, you might take a shine to these wrestlers, but
yeah.
I'm an accelerationist about these things, Damon. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I don't think there's any point worrying about it. This is the ecosystem that New Japan lives in.
Yeah. And trust me, I'm not that concerned about anyone, just because I don't think that any of the companies are interested in any of the younger talent, which I think is the most important thing, number one. And number two, the people that are still there that can go. I don't know, is fucking, Uncle Paul calling up Shingo anytime soon to fucking, have a Intercontinental Championship run. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Like, I think, like, of the lineup, it might be like David Finlay might be the only person that I would be a little bit concerned with. But and I don't even think there is anything to be concerned with, but like, of all the names of what other promotions might be interested in. So I think we'll wind up being okay. I really do. I don't think we'll have much to. I mean, things will suck, like if Kevin Knight is one of those people, it sucks. We love him. We think he could do so much here and be in the mix, but yeah.
All right, no, okay. I'm going to be the bad guy.
No,
is he that good? Is he that good? Have you really seen anything transcendental from Kevin Knight?
No.
In the capacity as a singles wrestler?
No. Has he been given an opportunity to do that? Probably not. But no, he's not a needle mover by any stretch of the imagination. He's more of a guy that we personally like when he's in the ring, and we would wish, successful things to happen within a New Japan Pro Wrestling ring. But no, he's not going to be a person that's going to be like, well, there goes our sellout for the fucking Tokyo Dome. No.
Well, it does, this match sort of highlight the incredible depth of talent that New Japan have in their junior division, which is as stacked as it's ever been, I think. And Morning Progress says, of the guys in the junior tag who may leave without a belt, but with some momentum, who should be the one to win Best of the Super Juniors? And they've thrown out some names here, Kevin Knight, Fujita, or Akira. And I think those two, at the end, Fujita and Akira, are guys that I would be looking at. I think maybe next year might come a year too soon for Akira, for Fujita, but I could see Francesco Akira being a solid shout for Best of the Super Juniors this year. But again, just speaks to how talented and deep this division is and why we are not that bothered at them putting this as a four-way rather than just doing 2 or 2, because we like all 8 of these guys and dudes are going to rock.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the lineup. I mean, you got a 4-way tag match. So we got 8 guys there, right? That, once again, no one's complaining about any of them being in this. And for the first time in many moons, it's not like, I wish it was a singles match. Nope. This is more of these guys, the better, and have them just go berserko. And then you still have a title match. You know what I mean? So, like, your title match that's 9 and 10, right? Juniors being represented on this show. And that's not even talking about Hiromu, which is in the semi-main. So, yeah, I mean, this might be one of the most stacked juniors that we've had in New Japan almost ever. Like, that's pretty amazing. The names that we have up and down the lineup that are representing the juniors. Pretty awesome.
Second match is the IWGP Women's Championship match with the third champion, Mayu Iwatani, on her 9th defense against Azumi. And of course, the discourse around this is going to be how much time are they going to get? Because historically, these matches have not been given a respectable amount of time, in my opinion. So it's a very challenging spot to be in for them because they're going to be coming off the back of what is probably going to be a pretty nutty ladder match. And yeah, they're going to have to work really hard to keep the crowd engaged, I feel. But there's enough talent there. I mean, we know that both of these wrestlers are outstanding, so I just hope they get given enough time to give a good account of themselves. And in terms of the winner, I mean, it looks like Mayu is putting on a pretty historic, well, I say historic, I mean, the glorious, prestigious long history of the IWGP Women's Championship. But I'm all up for a bit of Okada erasure. If she could drag that out long enough to be like, the most winningest IWGP champ of all time without discussion. It's Mayu Iwatani, so I'm all in favour of that. So a bit of a coin flip there, but I'm excited for the match and just hope he gets time.
I'm looking at the lineup. And boy, I'm just you're so right in the sense that they got a lot up against them in this match. So not only are they coming off the opening free for all ladders, crazy, great pro wrestling that we're expecting. Even before that, there's that extended pre-show gap. It's not like they just go from the Rumble right on into the first match. There's that little gap, right? And then you have not just a regular old Rumble. This is, the end result of this is a new number one contender, which I think is going to have more tricks up their sleeve than just, a guy winning. So, yeah, it's a tough spot, and they're not going to get a ton of time. Right, I would say less than 10 minutes, or maybe at 10 minutes. So,
and to be fair, that is like that's supposed to be Azumi's strength, isn't it? She's like the speed. Is it the speed star? I can't remember what the name of the gimmick belt is, but she is used to putting on excellent matches in a short space of time. And I did want to sort of jump in with something from the chat. Mike CC says it's worth noting that Mayu is very likely to be leaving Stardom for Marigold next year. So maybe this is the time with a lot of casual eyeballs to be crowning a new IWGP Women's Champion. So just throwing that.
Wouldn't hurt. Yeah, it wouldn't hurt if they're going to do it this. And and I'm not going to say this is a specialty but like I feel comfortable in the sense that if you give them 10 minutes, they're going to know what the fuck to do, right? So again, another sprint, another high-paced, probably great match. If they can hold on to the crowd a little bit and not have it just be like a piss break, if they can hold on to them, this could be great. This could be really great. Again, a sprint type of match, but it can be great.
Third match is the NJPW World TV Championship 4-way match with the champion Ren Narita defending against El Phantasmo, Ryohei Oiwa, and Jeff Cobb. I feel that Ren is going to win this. I think we can't send the crowd home happy with every match, and especially with the fourth match being Tanahashi versus Evil. There's definitely a lot of goodwill there for the ELP comeback and people wanting to see him get his happy moment back and winning that title.
They don't do that,
but I think that can wait.
Yeah,
I think we can drag that out a bit longer. I'm imagining, I know plenty of people have said it, especially with these sort of multi-man matches, some situation where there's some insane closing sequences where everyone's doing their finishes on each other, and then Ren sneaks in at the end with the push-up bar and steals the win, and everyone's like, you bastards, and the happy ELP win gets stolen from us. But I think we stretch that out and maybe do that at New Beginning. You can have El Phantasmo versus Ren Narita, and lest we forget that Ren, I believe, beat El Phantasmo during the G1, so that's a loss that he might be wanting to avenge. So I do think we will have a feel-good comeback win for El Phantasmo, but I don't think it's going to be this match. I think this is going to be one for Ren to steal it. But again, it should be really exciting. Really nice mixture of styles there with the high flying of El Phantasmo and the shenanigans of Ren and Jeff Cobb with his power spots, and a lot of eyeballs on Oiwa, and certainly a lot of casual interest on him. A lot of people talking about how impressive he was in those Road to Tokyo Dome in the tag match in Korakuen, and people were starting to sit up and pay attention to him. So a lot of eyeballs on him, and it's a difficult spot for him to be in, given that it's a 4-way match with a 15-minute time limit. There's only so much you can do there. But I certainly think one of the success criteria for this match would be to give him a bit of shine, even if he's not going to be the person who wins it. Maybe he's going to be the guy who wins it. I don't know. But a lot of moving parts to this match.
Yeah, I'm looking at the show, and while I think that we'll see a title change in the junior, and as you had mentioned, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have the women's IWGP Championship change hands there. So now I'm just like, okay, so now we're going triple title change, and I don't back to back, and I don't know if they would book that in that style.
I think we have had like Wrestle Kingdoms where I swear like all of the titles changed hand at some point. So
yeah, especially in the beginning too, in some of the titles that might be considered lesser than. I don't know. Every time I see that, I kind of pull back. But once again, I think you're right in the sense of where this is positioned when you have Tanahashi and Evil. So yeah, not every chance you're going to have that feel good thing where you want to take the crowd on a little bit of a ride. Oiwa is the one guy I would think would, if of all of them, could walk away as a new champion. I think that would be the direction I would go. I don't think they would do El Fantasma, only in the sense of they're pretty notorious for guys when they return from injury to lose, just because of the kayfabe kind of. Well, he can't possibly. He hasn't been. He has a lot of ring rust or what. That idea of, he's not going to come right back and win. But no, I think I'm leaning more toward Ren, honestly. Weird so far.
I'm just going to throw this out. Sorry, David, for historical context, Wrestle Kingdom 13, all of the titles changed hands.
Okay. All of them.
All of them, yeah. Ospreay defeated Ibushi for the Never title. Bushi and Shingo won the junior tags. Zack won the British title from Ishii. Sanada and Evil won the heavyweight tags. Juice Robinson won the US title off of Cody. Ishimori beat Kushida for the junior title. Jay White beat Okada. That was just a singles match. Naito beat Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental title. And then Tanahashi beat Omega for the heavyweight title. So all of the championships changed hands there.
Okay. Well, I don't think we'll see it here. I don't know. That would be that's yeah. Now you mention it, I do remember that being crazy. I don't know if
I agree with you. This does feel like Ren slithering away with his championship intact, doesn't it?
And again, sprints. Opening match, sprint. Women's championship, sprint. This is a sprint just by the nature of the way the belt is designed. Sprint. And here's where the breaks come on. The lumberjack match.
I mean, just sticking with this one for a moment. I know there's a lot of criticism for Ren and the booking of Ren, but if he does retain his title, that's probably going to annoy a lot of people, but also maybe, quite a valuable and important thing to happen to actually have one of these Reiwa Musketeers win a match. And, we'll do predictions for the others later on, but do you think there is some inherent value there, even if we all hate Ren and think he's shit and hate House of Torture, to actually have one of these young domestic Japanese heavyweights win at Wrestle Kingdom?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And Ren's going to fly under the radar just because of the style and House of Torture and all that stuff. He's not going to be a huge focus, but make no mistake about it. He's in that mix. And he does, as much as, I know it's like saying, well, he made a shit sandwich, but the shit sandwiches are some of the best shit sandwiches.
Very well made, very well crafted artisan shit sandwiches with the best sourdough bread and the freshest shit, organically sourced from farms locally.
A farm to table turd. The farmer comes to your house.
It's not just any shit sandwich.
No, the farmer comes to your house and shits on your plate. I mean, it's fresh from the tap, if you will. It's like going to a maple tree and just sticking one of those spouts right in. We are, again, the worst ever. So yes, there you go. Ren's winning, I think, because you need that. It is almost a palate cleanser. I don't. I think it's fine. I have no problem with any of that. He can win, and yeah, we'll do a singles match somewhere down the road, and he'll lose eventually. But yes, I think Ren's walking out as champion.
Well, this is the New Japan modus operandi, isn't it? They will give you what you want, but not when you want.
Correct.
So keep that in mind. Fourth match, Hiroshi Tanahashi, final road lumberjack death match. Hiroshi Tanahashi against Evil. No official hair cutting stipulation, but it would stand to reason. Like they might announce that at the press conference, but given everything that happened in the build up, you would think logically Evil would have to put something on the line because Tanahashi's saying, right, if I lose this, I'm retiring.
Right.
Yeah. So Evil, surely he's got to put up something in exchange for it as well. Now, I think there's like a 0% chance Evil wins. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the scenes if he just
the whole tour's
Dick Togo, the garrote wire, low blow when the referee's not looking. 1, 2, 3. Ah, that's it. No more Tanahashi. Bye bye.
Yeah, that
he just
tour's
walks
shot.
away.
Yep. Yeah, we cancel our plans to go next year. It's just everything. Wait,
but I mean, that said, they will probably milk that for some very dramatic near falls where we'll suspend our disbelief and think, surely not. Surely they're not going to do it. And you're going to we'll kick out at like 2.99999. We'll get all the smoke and mirrors here. And I don't know who the lumberjacks will be. I know Tanahashi spoke about people, getting people from other companies. Now, I'm going to throw something out there. Aaron Wolf. Have you heard of Aaron Wolf?
I've heard the name. Where do I know the name?
So he's a Japanese judoka who won a gold medal at the 2017 World Judo Championships and a gold medal at the 2020 Summer Olympics. So an Olympic gold medalist in judo. And he is going to be on Japanese commentary at this show.
Uh-oh.
Probably just a one-off appearance. But can you imagine if, we get a moment during this match where all the House of Torture guys run in and Tanahashi's outnumbered and no one can come and save him because everyone else is, tied up in other matches or banged up from the Rambo or whatever. And Aaron Wolf just jumps over the barrier, fights off House of Torture, does some sick judo moves and flings them around everywhere, ragdolling them from pillar to post, saves Tanahashi, and then after the match, Tanahashi announces Aaron Wolf signing for New Japan Pro Wrestling to take us into 2025.
Let's go. Yeah, he's there for a reason, right? I can't imagine him just sitting there and just doing commentary, right?
Come on. No, that's exactly what he's doing. He's just going to be doing commentary. But you never know. He's clearly a fan of New Japan, and you can't do judo forever.
Right.
Massive household name. That could be a massive game changer for New Japan to get someone like him.
That's a lot better than fucking Dolph Ziggler sitting at ringside. Remember that? Remember what?
I'd all but forgotten. Could we just take that moment as a massive win to have him and Matt Riddle nowhere near this fucking company, that they learned their lesson after just a handful of events. One new beginning tour, and they were like, actually, this is shit. Let's not do this.
Yep. That's not. And again, we know the reasons. These are named talent that have been on TV for many years. And just for all the reasons of, hey, you know what? There really isn't anybody that we can put in a spot that, that can, I don't know. We talked about it ad nauseum, so no big deal. Yes. I just remember that in the crowd shot of good old Nikki. That'll be a pleasant change if we had what you described. So I think here's the thing. I think the match is going to be fun. I really do. I think the match is going to be really fun. It's going to be wacky pro wrestling with a lot of dramatic near falls because there's so much on the line, and I'm sure there will be shithousery and fun, goofy, fun pro wrestling. So, yep. Look, if you have Evil on your roster, there is no better spot than Evil against the ultimate babyface President lumberjack match. Stips. Let's fucking go. I think this will be good.
Yeah, go into this as a fan, not a critic.
Correct.
Go into this with all your love of Hiroshi Tanahashi and just lose yourself in the drama of the match where you are desperate for Tanahashi to go for one more year. Just suspend your disbelief. You'll have a good time. And I was just circling back to Aaron Wolf here. So October 2022, he said that he wants to wrestle for New Japan post amateur retirement. And I don't know when that's going to be, but again, just stick a pin in that one for now.
All right. I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Right, fifth match, never openweight championship match. Shingo Takagi with his second defense against Konosuke Takeshita. Should Takeshita remain AEW International Champion? Oh, he is. He is still AEW International Champion. So this match is title for title. So one of these men is walking out of here with both the
Double
AEW
gold.
International Championship and the Never Openweight Championship. Chris says, what are the odds on Takagi versus Takeshita being match of the night? Pretty fucking high, I would say. Because we know Takeshita is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I'd probably have him top 3, at least. And Shingo Takagi is great at the best of times. And at the Tokyo Dome, he don't miss.
Nope.
He has got incredible match of the year candidate matches with guys that you wouldn't necessarily expect from. I mean, was it Tamatonga last year? He had an absolute banger with the Jeff Cobb during the pandemic. Just his resume in the Tokyo Dome speaks for itself. And I'm just so happy that he's been put in a big spot here. And these guys are going to kick ass, aren't they? This is probably going to be like the casual fans' match of the night, and dare I say, match of the year candidate.
Oh yeah. This will be, the back in the day tape traders, comp tape. This would be on that. Jeff Lynch, fire me up. If you're looking for the sexy, hard hitting, big time main event, spotlight, the whole 9 yards, all the reasons that you fell in love with New Japan Pro Wrestling, this is what we're looking at. And I like the fact that there's double gold on the line. I do like that. That makes it a little bit more interesting and fun. And I'm split. Like, I'm not hardcore. Shingo is going to walk away and win and take both belts, because I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tony Khan is a big Shingo guy, right? And yet,
Takeshita is one of
right.
He's not losing,
which
to me opens up two interesting questions here. Like, I'm assuming Takeshita is walking away from after January 5th with both of those titles. What happens, right? The worst case scenario, and probably the most likely outcome, as
Jericho.
we've seen historically with AEW guys, or basically non-New Japan guys, winning New Japan titles, they're never going to defend them.
They disappear.
We won't see them again for 6 months. They're going to be sitting there collecting dust, never mentioned on TV. Then we get them back at some point when they're ice cold. That's the most likely outcome here, unfortunately. Best case scenario, is this a window for a soft jump for Konosuke Takeshita to come to New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Come on. Yeah.
Wrestle Kingdom 20 main event, Konosuke Takeshita against Aaron Wolf. You can book it now.
Let's go.
Selling out the Tokyo Dome.
Special guest referee, Nick Mammoth. Matt Riddle. Yeah, look, I don't think anybody's questioning the fact that on paper this should be the chef's kiss when it comes to the show. Stuck right in the middle, 2 belts on the line, young fucking superstar that, again, as you laid out, if wins, maybe there's a little that door is pried open a little bit more. And even if Shingo does win, great, nobody's complaining about that. So, yeah, this should be great. I mean, and trust me, it's I have it circled as match of the night. So we'll see. I mean, on paper, it's sexy as fuck.
So the final 4 matches on this card, I can't help drawing parallels to the final 4 matches of Wrestle Kingdom 11. So here we've got Doki versus Despi, Tsuji versus Finlay, Naito versus Hiromu, and Shota versus Zack. Wrestle Kingdom 11, we had Hiromu versus Kushida, Shibata versus Goto, Naito versus Tanahashi, and Okada versus Omega. So I just, to me, my mind can't get past the sort of parallels of those 4 matches compared against each other. So using Hiromu Kushida as a parallel to Doki versus Despi in terms of bringing a similar energy to that match, because we've seen both guys have sort of a more sort of clinical mat-based, a thinking man's wrestling match where, you know, there's a lot of sort of submission-based stuff and working a body part, and they're great at that, don't get me wrong. I'm not sure this is the time or the place for it, and there have been some really great interviews going into it with the guys' mutual respect for each other. Like, they've got a lot of love for each other, and of course the history runs deep, and we all know Doki finally got his chance in New Japan because of Despy he got his jaw broken by Jun Kasai, so Jun Kasai being the sort of guy sort of holding this narrative together. So you can probably expect some Jun Kasai tributes in this match. And what's the match? Is it the Pearl Harbor bomb that he does, the top rope thing when he puts his goggles on? I don't know. I'm not a Jun Kasai expert, but I think I would not bet against there being some sort of Jun Kasai references here. And I remember on this podcast, Damon, when I don't know, may have even been back when I was living in China, talking about Doki and saying how young he is, and already he had the great crowd connection and he was improving year on year, and how I don't think it was out of the realms of possibility for him to be a future IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. But even me, with all the love that I have for Doki, being a Doki defender, a Doki apologist, even from day one, could have foreseen how he's been booked this year from zero to hero, basically. A guy who's like an average, I think he just got 6 points every year in Best of the Super Juniors, losing repeatedly against all the top guys to just steamrolling them this year, beating everyone. Respectable run. What did he make it to the semis of Best of the Super Juniors, and then getting wins over all the top guys, all the guys that victory had eluded him from in the past. And now he feels like the guy in the company. And what a tremendous job showing that if you just get behind a guy and book them strongly, you can make them feel like a big deal. And, you know, not to say that Doki didn't play his part. It's not all just because of the booking. He certainly, you know, the effort he puts in and how he's improved as a wrestler and his crowd connection, and, you know, even stuff like the way he's got himself into shape is, I think he won the Concurso last year, didn't he? I think he came fourth this year. So he's just worked on every facet of his game, and just such an interesting guy with a really rich and varied history. And as he said in all his interviews, there's no one who's got a history like he has, going from like wrestling in literal slums to now walking into the Tokyo Dome as the top junior heavyweight in the company and defending it against his mentor and rival, El Desperado. It's a beautiful story, and I don't know how much time these guys are going to get, but I feel that we're looking at like 50 minutes here, and I'm just thinking they're going to do some crazy shit. They'll both come in wearing white, and they're going to be probably some blood, probably a lot of mask ripping, just the way that happens in New Japan when guys love each other very much, when they're best of friends, they try to fucking kill each other. That's just how we do things in New Japan. So I've got a very, very high ceiling for this one. I'm really, really excited for this one, because it just from a narrative sense, and also because they're both incredible wrestlers.
I think everyone was thrilled that Doki had the opportunity to walk into the Dome with the belt. And I think everyone was we were holding our breath as the year was coming to a close. And, you know, thinking, all right, he might be dropping it on this show, or he might not be that felt good. And it felt like, I don't know, in some weird way of, here's a guy that a lot of people, and you definitely on that train driving that, of getting on that bandwagon and creating the bandwagon, for Christ's sake. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy for the spotlight. I'm happy for a match that, you know, I'm going through this lineup and I'm like, wow, there are a ton of low key, again, sorry for the term, opportunities to really be the match of the night. And like, I keep coming back to this. Once again, chips on shoulders and just, I don't know, like a culmination of, and it's certainly not the end, don't get me wrong, but, you know, the idea of, just as you described, the journey that it has taken for not only Doki, but even El Desperado to a large degree, to be where they are right now. And it's been a long and winding path. I think this match has the opportunity to be one of the best. And I think it has the opportunity, placement, time-wise, history, the people in the ring, everything that we've discussed. Like I keep gravitating back to this match thinking, man, we're in for something special. I really feel like at the end of the night, there are going to be things that we're going to talk about, and I truly believe that one of them will be match number 8 for the junior heavyweight title, no doubt.
Troy says a disappointing exclusion for Wrestle Kingdom is Master Wato, and some people feel he should have won over Doki at Power Struggle. Would you prefer Doki Desperado or Wato Desperado for Wrestle Kingdom?
Doki.
I think, Doki Desperado. I want to say deserves it. He's earned it.
Correct.
The way he has wrestled or the way he's carried himself, he is the right choice to be walking in as the champion. So, yes, that's a very conclusive Doki Desperado for me. And there will be time to do Wato Desperado because they got their own stories there. And again, I just do love the way that all these sort of intricate tapestries weaved amongst the up-and-coming Japanese junior heavyweight. So, we're not just relying on Hiromu and Ishimori and Desperado. We've got guys like Doki and Wato coming through, and the new generation, your Fujitas, your Akiras, your Kevin Knights. So very exciting time in the junior heavyweight division. I've not actually picked a winner for this match. I don't know. I feel like we got to go all in and have Doki win. Again, this is all about a show where we're establishing to viewers, new and old, that these are your guys. These are the guys we are paying attention to, and I think I've got my heart saying Doki here.
Okay. What does your mind say?
My mind's saying Despy, but yeah.
I'm going Despy.
Yeah.
I'm going Despy.
I don't think there's a bad choice there, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine either way, truth be told, but I'm gonna just say Despy.
7th match is the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship match with David Finlay, the champion, with his 5th defense against Yota Tsuji. So a bit of a tricky one. Like, I'm really excited for it, and I think the previous 2 matches they've had in the G1, well, last year now, 2024, were really good. But it is a big challenge to then say, right, go and do it a 3rd time after people have seen it. High stakes was it a G1 semi-final, I want to say? I think Tsuji won that, didn't he, to get through to the finals. So we've already seen it in a big spot with very high stakes, and then to be told, right, go and do it again.
Yeah.
And being able to sort of mix it up and do something different, do something interesting with it. And people kind of a bit on the fence about those matches. I really like them, but I've heard people in other spheres saying that they were unconvinced by them and not really sure about this one. I mean, Finlay, we've thrown all the flowers at him. He had a brilliant 2024. So there's a challenge inherent in doing the 3rd match between them, making it interesting. And also in terms of the outcome here, because Tsuji already has 2 wins over David Finlay. He won both of those matches in the G1. So does he come out here and just win a 3rd time? And that's the story we're going with, that he is David Finlay's white whale, the guy he just can't manage to beat, and that it's his hubris, him calling out Tsuji and saying, right, you've beaten me twice already, I'm going to erase that defeat and get my win back, as he's been saying in the interviews, and that is ultimately what costs him. And I could certainly see Yota Tsuji carrying that white belt. All the parallels with Shinsuke Nakamura are there, so I can see that as a very credible outcome. However, there's just something that doesn't sit quite right with me about doing all this work building up Finlay and then having him lose to Tsuji a 3rd time when there's a lot to be said about losing upwards. And this could just be a case where Finlay losing the belt, losing upwards, and is moving on to bigger and better things this year. So there's that. But I can't shake this feeling that you want to just build on all the great work you've done with David Finlay in 2024 to just continually establish him as this dominant, ruthless singles champion. And I just can't help but feel that, and everyone's saying that Tsuji is going to win here. I can't help but feel that he retains it. And just the way that he's been calling out Yuya Uemura, I feel that Yuya makes more sense as the guy to dethrone him and take that white belt. But then that just opens up a lot of other tricky things about the main event. If you have Tsuji losing this one and then Shota losing in the main event, just you have two of your top new Japanese heavyweights losing to the white guys. What are the optics of that? That's not really good. So this is just a really interesting one to sort of unpack in terms of the booking and who wins this, because there is a lot of positives in both outcomes, but also issues with both outcomes as well. And I'm finding it really difficult to definitively say, yeah, this is the thing that makes sense and this is what I think is going to happen.
I'm with you on a lot of the points, right? So first, make that clear. I don't know. Like, I look at it and I see an opportunity to on third from the top to have a singles match and records be damned against each other head to head. You have the opportunity to do what you've set out to do, and that is make Yota Tsuji a singles heavyweight champion. And I think it helps him a ton more in him winning gold in a big spotlight Wrestle Kingdom match than it does David Finlay continuing on this build of being the new foreign menace. To me, Yota Tsuji win means more to the company right now than a David Finlay win, right? Because as much as we've praised David Finlay, and we have, and we might be on an island in a lot of cases when it comes to that, overall, David Finlay losing is not going to hurt him. It's not. And just like you described, he could lose up. He'll still be in the mix of all the upper card stuff, right? He'll still have programs and stuff and all that. To me, the gold is in Yota Tsuji winning gold. Because I don't know. To me, if we're being serious about who's, see, I don't want to tip my cards, but like, you know me and how I like, okay, if there's a title change here, there's probably not going to be a title change there. So if I do stick with my guns and say, yep, title change here, we're probably not changing a title at the top. But okay, I don't want to spill the beans on that yet.
He'd also look like a bit of a loser, wouldn't he, if he lost his challenge against Naito at Sakura Genesis, lost the G1 final, and then if he loses this, it's not a good look, is it?
Yeah, and like he's due. It feels like we've been waiting for that singles title for a little bit. I think this is the time. I think you strike now. And that's not even. I was going to say that's not even to say David Finlay can't win it back, but why would we need to do that? Yep. I think this is the time is right. The time is now. So I think we'll see a new global heavyweight champion.
There was a really great interview with Finlay in New Japan World. It's on the YouTube as well. He's talking about Tony Khan and his toy box, all his discarded toys that he doesn't use. And right at the end, they asked him about Gabe Kidd. And he took umbrage with Gabe Kidd being referenced there. So just file that away.
Right.
This could be a launching point for that. I don't know. It could be like Finlay loses his title and Gabe beats Kenny Omega. And Gabe's like, well, you lost in your match. I won in my match. Who's the real leader here? Or, maybe it plays out differently along the line. But I'm just, not for nothing, as you would say, they put that right at the end of the interview. They mentioned Gabe Kidd. So just file that away for later because there's definitely a lot of smoke there. John says, do you see David Finlay as a world champion in 2025? I've said it ages ago, and a lot of people are jumping on the train here as David Finlay being potential New Japan Cup winner, but not only New Japan Cup winner, but also winning the title at Sakura Genesis.
Look, I mean, I think there's, yeah, not to just beat a dead horse, but yeah, I'm with you. I could see that definitely happen. I'm not saying it will, but that's it. It makes sense. It can happen, and it might happen, and it. I'm not gonna say it should, but yeah, we'll see.
Eighth match, special singles match, Tetsuya Naito versus Hiromu Takahashi. This is, one for the LIJ fans. The narrative behind this is packed with significance and lore. And again, really great interview segment with both of them talking about their history together, how Naito basically saw Hiromu as this kid who was failing in the tryouts. I think it was the tryouts anyway. Like, he hadn't even made his debut as a young lion. Just came up to him and was like, excuse me, if it's okay, I'd like to teach you to wrestle now. And a lot of chat in that interview about their dynamic and how Hiromu wasn't a guy who would just be like, okay, sensei, and just like listen to everything. He'd sort of push back a bit and be like, oh, well, why can't we do it like this? And how it sort of, that was the foundation for their sort of almost antagonistic sort of big brother, little brother relationship. So there's always been that little bit of friction there. That's, never been sort of boiled over to outright conflict, but, this has been one that people have wanted for 4 years, probably longer. And like I said, with New Japan, you get what you want, but not necessarily when you want. We're getting it now. Said before, this is probably past its sell-by in terms of in-ring output and, what it could have been from the Stars perspective, but massive potential in sort of the emotional resonance, what this match can mean, particularly for fans of LIJ who are going to be living and dying on this. And, Naito was talking about his eye injury and talking about how his two eyes sort of see things on a different plane. Like, one of them is seeing things flat and one of them seeing it diagonally. So something like locating the ropes, if he's doing his turnbuckle DDT or whatever it does, this sort of thing where he bounces off the ropes, that is a massive challenge for him. And this was, I think, prior to the eye surgery. So, maybe if we're all very optimistic, the surgery's had us hopefully fix that, and maybe he will be vastly improved to the rest of that we saw botching stuff earlier on in the year. But with that all being said, I don't think they need to do anything crazy from a work rate standpoint to satisfy the people who really wanted this match. I think there is enough for them to be doing emotionally in this match to send everyone home happy. Now, to me, the interesting question for this is, what does this match achieve?
Right.
What's the function of this match going forward? So Aspir says, many people, including Joel, have been advocating for Hiromu to go heavy. Some see this Naito match at Wrestle Kingdom as the opportunity to push him to that. As a Hiromu fan personally, I don't think that benefits him or the company. I think the junior division still benefits from him being around. And if he goes heavy, he's just destined to be a middle-of-the-road guy majority of the time. They have enough up-and-coming heavies that will pass him by, and almost all of them should be pushed above Hiromu as a heavy. Shota, Uemura, Oiwa, Bolton, the list goes on. All that to ask, do you still think Hiromu should go heavy? And if you do, sell it to Hiromu fans and fans in general. I don't think I have ever said I think he should go heavyweight. He's already playing in that open weight sphere, which I think has been a long time coming. We've not really had many wrestlers doing that in a credible way. So he's challenged... He's challenged Evil for the heavyweight title. He challenged Sanada for the heavyweight title. And now he's facing Naito. So he's always been a guy, he's fought Ishii, he's fought Okada. So he's, in recent years, he's a guy who has dipped his toes in that water. So I almost sort of don't view him as a pure junior anymore. I see him as an open weight guy. He's transcended that label. So I don't think it's going to be like, oh, Naito's won. Now he is officially the leader of LIJ, and he gets, a little armband that he can wear to show he's the leader, and he's officially moving to the heavyweight division. No more junior matches for him ever again. Like, that's not how New Japan do things. But I do see the outcome here being Hiromu winning, just a sort of like a subtle shifting of the landscape to indicate that, maybe Naito's time is done and that Hiromu has some juice as a heavyweight, not pure heavyweight, but as an open weight wrestler. I don't know. It's a really complicated situation, isn't it? What's your take on it?
I feel like this match is more than the match in the sense of I think there's one school of thought where okay they're just going to have the match and the heavyweight beats the junior and on we go with the main event, right? There's always that school of thought. There's another school of thought of okay, what does this mean to Lij? Like where if either guy wins, if Hiromu wins, does he become this de facto leader of Lij? Does Naito take time off? All of that. Is there still an Lij left? Is there is anyone with a win or a loss welcome still to be a member? There's a million things, and I try not to let Western pro wrestling fan dictate a lot of that because a lot of times you get into that and it never comes to pass. I think the bottom line is this. The things I'm looking for are, one, if, in fact, Hiromu does win, I think we can put a pin in the junior stuff. Like, I think officially he's a heavyweight at that point. I think you have to. I don't think he's a guy that would get lost as a heavyweight. I think there's so many things that he could do when it comes to TV title, when it comes to the global, when it comes to Hell to Never, and everything else. Do I see him pigeonholed to be like heavyweight champion? I don't. That being said, I don't think he necessarily has to. He could still remain a junior. He could be this tweener in between where, he's, he doesn't necessarily have to commit to anything and he can play both sides of the fence. If Naito wins, I think more people would be disappointed if Naito won. Only because of, okay, well, yeah, I mean, technically he was supposed to win because he's a heavy, injuries aside, all that stuff. All the talking and all the interviews and all that stuff, Joel, it felt like it was laid on so thick that I felt like, well, okay, they have to do something to exploit this, right? This has to be the end of it, and somebody's turning violently. But again, that rarely happens. I think what we want to see with Hiromu getting the win might be just us wanting that. And the logic of it is Naito's winning, and that's that. And don't expect any ramifications, right? I think this will check all the this match is for Lij fans, and I hope and I pray that there's something else there as not just a singles match, second from the top at the Tokyo Dome. I hope that there's something else that helps us connect from where this match is to what is the future of that faction and both guys' future. Again, I think if Hiromu wins, I think you have to make him a heavy. If Naito wins, does Hiromu make moves to be the new leader? I just think there's a lot of stuff that's outside of the actual match that I think is more significant and important than the actual match. They're going to give him time. And hopefully, both guys come out of it okay. I think injuries, everyone's a little bit worried, so we'll see. I think both guys in the dome will put on their put their best foot forward. I don't know if physically they can, but they're going to do their damnedest. And I just kind of hope that there's something a little bit extra involved in this match, as opposed to just, okay, we're just going to do this match 5 years too late.
For what it's worth, Hiromu said that he thinks it should be a one-off. He doesn't want to wrestle Naito again in the future. And, maybe they are going to be doing stuff together as a tag team as well, because lest we forget they won World Tag League. So I still have my working theory that Naito and Hiromu versus the Young Bucks could headline a strong show in the US at some point next year, whenever that is, after hopefully Naito's taken some time off to heal up after this one. So stick a pin in that one for now. Main event.
Just one more question. Are LIJ fans excited for this?
Oh, yeah.
Are
Massively.
they? Okay.
They can't wait. Yeah.
All right. I'm just making sure. I haven't really heard a lot of buzzing about it, but okay. But I haven't gone to my LIJ fan club meetings. So.
Right. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match. Zack Sabre Jr., the champion, his third defense against the challenger Shota Umino. I feel that we've said everything there is to say about this match, really. And both these men, outstanding year from Zack Sabre Jr. He's done everything that you would want from a champion, apart from drawing big numbers. But in terms of how he's carried himself as a professional and working with the younger guys and delivering in big matches, and just even his presentation, the way he sort of bulked up and speaking fluent Japanese, like he's ticking all the boxes that you would want. And he seems to sort of operate in a unique space, really. I don't feel that he is perceived as a foreigner in the same way that wrestlers have in years gone by, like whether that's your Kennys or Jay Whites or Ospreys or whatever. It feels like he's kind of paid his dues and he's done enough to win over the company and the fans to think like he's a New Japan guy. Right. They're sort of seeing past the fact that he's not Japanese, which is a really great achievement in and of itself. Like the fact that he was able to beat the beloved Tetsuya Naito for that championship at King of Pro Wrestling in Sumo Hall and get hero's reception from that and be able to celebrate with the fans, and the fans were cheering for that as well, is no mean feat. So he's had a tremendous year and just a great statesman for the company. Shota Umino, we've said everything about him, and again, whether or not the build was intentional, was this the plan all along? I don't think it was, but I don't think it matters. And was it intentionally building him up as an undeserving champion? Are they going to turn him heel? I don't think so. I think the booing was a natural reaction to almost the booking rather than Shota himself. But I feel from that point where he was booed at, what was it, Power Struggle, to now, I feel that he's won people over. I feel that fans are cheering him now. So they dealt with it in an organic way without him doing the sort of typical US wrestling style, I'm turning on you people, fuck the fans, da-da-da. They've not had to do that, and I don't think that is what they should do, because I can feel that there's a sizable chunk of the fan base who have stuck by Shota all along, and that he's also won people over by sheer effort. He's in tremendous shape. The work rate, putting in a hell of a shift in World Tag League with a joke of a partner, and just showing that fire. I can see it in his eyes now. I can see a guy who is ready to take on this responsibility and deliver in this match. So I have said for a while, and I'm saying it again here, I think it is going to deliver. I think it is going to be a Wrestle Kingdom main event worthy match. Now, to me, the interesting question to discuss now is, we've got a question from Zwiper on Twitter. He says, should New Japan pull the trigger on Shota at Wrestle Kingdom and see how far our little Tanahashi wannabe can go? Or is 2025 the year of Zack Sabre Jr. holding the belt and the Reiwa Musketeers chasing after him? And Eric says, is Zack champ the day after Sakura Genesis? So I don't know. I mean, I came into this thinking that Zack would win, given that it's just for all I've said about him being accepted as operating at a different level to previous Western champions in recent years, it would still be unprecedented for him to win in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom. And historically, that sort of stuff has not happened. I mean, what are we looking back to guys like fucking Bob Sapp or Brock Lesnar as Westerners winning in a Tokyo Dome main event? However,
but look at those two names that you mentioned. I mean, again, it was different times, mind you, but like they were probably two of the least in it for the company guys. You know what I mean? Like Zack to me feels like a guy that is New Japan through and through, and is a strong representative of the company. Whereas Goldberg and fucking Brock Lesnar and fucking Bob Sapp and the list goes on and on. I mean, these are people that you're just like, okay, they don't give a fuck as long as that check clears.
True.
But I did cut you off. I'm sorry.
I think Shota Umino is on the path to redemption, but I think he needs that Kikuchi moment. The one, if we all go back to Wrestle Kingdom 9 when Okada lost and was walking from the ring,
Tears,
crying his eyes out, and Tanahashi saying, you're good, but you're not the ace. You're no ace. And then him sort of building on that for the next year and then coming back and getting the job done at Wrestle Kingdom 10. I just feel that that's what we need. That's, to me, the missing piece for Shota, where he needs to come agonizingly close, but fail.
Yeah.
And then rebuild from there, rediscover himself,
Yep.
figure out who he is,
Yep.
and come back with, fresh coat of paint, whatever. I'm not worried about him anymore. Everything I've seen basically since Power Struggle has made me think, this is a guy who gets it. And he will get there. I mean, the presentation is still a bit confused, but maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe he'll come out at Wrestle Kingdom, new entrance, new theme, new gear. He'll look like a changed man and we'll be like, whoa, he's put it all together here. He's ready. This is the superstar that New Japan needs to carry him into the next era. But I feel that's still a long-term process, and I feel his trajectory is to lose here, rebuild, and ultimately be the person to retire Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom next year. And that's going to be a journey. So I don't think, in a way, I don't think it would benefit him to win the title here, because we've seen, in other New Japan years gone by and other promotions where
pushback,
they have belted up. Yeah, they've belted up a guy too soon, and there's been pushback on that, and the fans have not bought it. And I feel that this is too soon, and I feel he's just hitting that sweet spot where the fans are like, you know what, I respect it. I respect the effort, and you're putting in a shift, and you are looking like the guy we wanted you to be. And to me, him actually winning the main event would undo that in a weird way.
I'm 1,000% with you on every fucking point. Look, New Japan of any company is not one that's like, okay, let's hotshot this guy to the fucking top. And then that first title shot he gets, right? There's got to be the paying the price, right? And if you look back at a guy like Okada, right, and what you described at that Wrestle Kingdom, where a lot of people were like, well, Okada's walking out with this, and it didn't fucking happen. And the tears and him being carried out, with his best bud and business partner and, manager extraordinaire, consoling him as he's walking
and how
down.
did I forget to mention Wrestle Kingdom 12 as well? Naito failing
another one
when everyone thought he was going to win, and him, choking back the emotion. And that's something that inspired me to join Voices Wrestling and start writing about it, and really kindled my love of New Japan.
Yeah.
So plenty of examples.
There are. And as strange as this sounds, a loss would do him better. Because I do think that there would be pushback if he did walk away with the title. I really do. Here's what I hope this happens. That the match is stellar. That the match is exciting. That the match has people on the edge of their seats. That the match has the fans into it and hoping and rooting him on and getting behind him, I think, is important. I think the idea and the match structure has to be getting the fans behind him and having that place just rocking, wanting the title change, and not getting it. Because what that does, just like you described, is that makes fans. Oh, that motherfucker was so close. God damn it. That guy showed some balls and he just fell short, but he's young and he's got sandpaper and grit and fire. Let me latch on to this a little bit. Let me see where this one goes. Because I like that. That's all that needs to happen. Now, all that, that shoulder shrug, all that needs to happen, is Easier said than done. We all know that.
Zach is going to have to beat 7 shades of shit out of him.
Yeah. He's got to take a bit of a beating. But then, again, fire back. Fire up. Get the crowd behind him. Get those near falls. Get those. And not shitty, like, just, okay, here comes the near fall bullshit. Like, make me want you to win. That's what I want. Make me want you to win. Because at the end of the day, if that happens, Joel, all the critics, all the people saying, nah, no, not him. He's been hot-shotted. Everything that leading up to the build of this match, that all the negative that has been thrown his way, that could all be wiped away in 30 minutes. It really
That's the ideal outcome, isn't it? That we come on here after that match and say, after Zach's won, saying they made a mistake here. They should have called an audible. Shota should have won that.
That'd be great, because then they did exactly what they did. Because if we're sitting here saying, oh my God, they should have called that audible. They should have just said, fuck it. The place is manic right now. We need to, like, if that happens, holy shit, this is match of the year. Right? I'll just say it right now. It's match of the year. Because what they did was they not only got the people that are already in his corner, which, again, they might be vocal, they might not be, but then they also have all the people that are on the fence. Now they're like, okay, I'm for the ride. And all the naysayers saying, oh, okay, okay, this is a possibility. I could see where we're going now. It was cloudy before. That's a win to me. And I don't think you get that with a title win. I don't think you get that with the guy winning the title. In fact, I think what you get more of is, oh, that guy. Okay. All right. And I really, truly believe that there are people in this company that would want it that way too. The idea of, okay, let's make this guy fucking claw a little bit. Let's make this guy fucking, earn this. And I put that in air quotes. There are probably people in the company feeling the same way. That would, to me, that's an ideal scenario. One, you still have a solid world champion, a great representative of the company, a true professional, a guy that can work his ass off and put people over just by making them stars in the ring, and then drop the belt when we've built it up. I don't know if we've built it up yet, Joel, and I feel like there is. Think of that feeling of you in the Tokyo Dome when Naito finally fucking did it. That's something. The moment where Okada finally did it. Those are things. Even the moment Kenny finally did it. Like that's pro wrestling, man. That's pro wrestling in a hard. And you go back to other great territories and great like All Japan, shall I say? There have been plenty of times when in All Japan's history where it's that. Not yet. And then finally, they strike. Even in a company like WWE, some of the best shit is no, not yet. We're gonna take people on a little bit of a journey with this character, with this wrestler. Yeah, I think the best thing they could do is not have the title change. And that's why I'm saying Zach wins, but ideally, and fingers crossed and praying to the pro wrestling gods, what the end result, more importantly, is Shota Umino is looked at as a guy, as a fucking guy a guy that people want to see win. That would be the ideal scenario.
And it's classic narrative stuff, really. It's the hero's journey, isn't it? Where we got the classic tropes of the call to adventure, the refusal of the call, crossing the threshold, meeting the mentor, the test, the allies, the enemies, and then the ordeal, the reward, the road back. We're at the ordeal right now. Shota needs to have the ordeal. We can't rush it to the road back and have the big celebratory moment. We'll rush to the reward. We're not there yet. We're on the journey. So let's stay the course.
New champion Shota in 10 minutes.
Right, Nebraska Man says, excluding Shota, who do you think must have the best showing to improve his outlook in the card in 2025? So, I mean, I suppose that could extend to Wrestle Dynasty as well. I think, I would probably say it's Gabe Kidd. So I would say there's anyone on the Wrestle Kingdom card where I'm like, you need to deliver in this spot. Otherwise,
I'm saying Yota.
For 2024.
I'm saying
yeah.
Yoda, Suji, I would put in the list, and Shota. But I mean, again, they specifically asked not to. Anybody on Wrestle Kingdom, I'm saying Yoda. Like, I would love to see that, like a next step thing for him.
All right, let's rush through Wrestle Dynasty then. Right. So JD Salmon says, Wrestle Dynasty is a knockoff of Forbidden Door, but even though it has decent cards, still more new players. Just like this year's Wrestle Kingdom, can they deliver the performance to people? Can this be successful? So, yeah, where are you in terms of the vibes check for Wrestle Dynasty? Because I'm at just cool matches in a vacuum, and just if anything great happens, brilliant, but I'm going in with fairly low expectations, and that's fine. I think this is a show that was not meant to be. I think this was originally supposed to be something else, as I think I've mentioned before, but we've got it now, and there is the potential for some cool shit to happen. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the level of emotional investment as I have in Wrestle Kingdom, but should be a fun show.
Correct. Yeah, like this is, in a vacuum, a pretty great show on paper. Let me take that back. A pretty good show on paper. Is there stuff that I have no interest in? Yes. Is there stuff that I have interest in? Of course. Sure. Zach, Ricochet, I think it would be great. Kenny and Gabe, absolutely. And even matches like Shota and Claudio, I think would be fun. But it doesn't feel like it has a lot of connective tissue to New Japan. It does feel like a hodgepodge of matches that on their own will make for a great pro wrestling viewing experience. But I can't necessarily sit here and tell you that I'm got my pants down for Yoda and Jack Perry, or I got my pants down for David Finlay, Brody King, which again could be great. But I'm just kind of like, okay, these are matches that are on, we got at Fire Pro Wrestling and we created a card and it's going to be fun. And yeah, I wish there was more to it, but I mean, really, those are the vibes I have of, okay, night 2 is going to be a showcase of pro wrestling that might not have a lot of connective tissue to the promotion that we follow.
Do you have any complaints about promotion or lack thereof from AEW, or do you think it's not their responsibility to promote the show because it's a New Japan show? So I think things like apparently on the pay-per-view, a bit of confusion amongst the announcers over when and whom Kenny Omega was wrestling, what date the Shingo versus Takeshita match is on. So just a lack of clarity. And again, I didn't watch it, so I can't say with any authority. But do you think AEW should have done better promoting the show, or is it not their problem?
I mean, it's co-promoted. Correct me if I'm wrong. Their logo's on the poster, right? Yeah, no, I mean, that would have been nice, wouldn't it? I mean, how difficult would that have been? Is it their responsibility as a promotion that is a co-promoter of this show? Again, I'm looking at the fucking logo, and their logo's on the logo of the show. So, and you go up and down this show. First match, if we're counting Willow Nightingale, right? Boom, 1. Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, 2. Ricochet, 3. Jack Perry, 4. Kenny, 5. Claudio, 6. Brody, 7. Young Bucks, 8 and 9. 10 for Monet. I mean, there's a lot of AEW people on this show. I would hope that they would have had some. Look, Tony Khan did not lend them these wrestlers and didn't expect some type of payday. Like, it just would benefit everybody. I don't know. You would think that they would have, but who they can't even promote
sloppy shop, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
they can't even promote their own.
I'm not gonna sort of hold their feet to the fire like, how dare you not do heavy lifting and promote Kenny versus Gay. I don't expect that from them, because again, my expectations are so low. They could barely promote their own things, let alone stuff from partner promotions. So I understand the complaints, but I don't really care enough to get upset about it. Is where I'm at right now. So we don't have clear match order as of yet. What do you think the main event of this show should be / will be?
Probably Kenny Gabe, I would think. No, Zach Ricochet. If
whoever's champion.
Yeah. Zach's.
Closing up. Yeah. All right, let's go through it then. International Women's Cup 4-way match. Momo Watanabe representing Stardom, Persephone representing CMLL, Willow Nightingale representing AEW, and Athena representing ROH. I think the winner of this gets some sort of title match of their choice. Yeah, I don't really know anything enough about any of these people to call it. Really, I hear good things about Athena, so she will probably be my pick. But yeah, I've got very little to say, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, tune in and see.
Will be a good match. There's some good names in there. I'm a fan of. I've not seen Persephone, but I've seen plenty of Momo and Willow and Athena, so it should be a really good match. So my lack of insight on this is an indictment on my own ignorance rather than a reflection on the quality of the wrestlers involved, because they're all really good. Second pre-show match is the ROH World Tag Championship match with Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes defending against Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Sho. Do you think Kanemaru and Sho will know who the ROH Tag Team Champions are before they actually step out from behind the curtain and walk down the ramp?
I'll say Dustin, yes. Sammy, maybe. I mean, Sammy was pretty big when AEW was getting off the ground, right?
I just imagine, so at some point the wrestlers get together backstage to sort of lay out the match. But I'm imagining, some sort of official saying to Kanemaru and Sho, right? We've got the AEW ROH guys here. Do you want to meet them and go through the match? And Kanemaru will be like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. We'll call it on the free.
Yeah. I'm going to hit you with the dusty elbow and a dusty elbow and then another dusty elbow. Okay, all right, we get.
But yeah, I cannot see Kanemaru and Sho winning this. But one of the rare matches where I'm going to be cheering for House of Torture, just because if they do win, it will annoy a lot of people, and that will be very funny. We've got the New Japan Strong Women's Championship and Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship. So the Rev Pro champion, Mina, I know it's Shirakawa, but on the website it says Hasirakawa. So whoever's typed that, loads of mistakes in. Against the Strong Women's Champion, Mercedes Moné. Mercedes is on a bit of a tear at the moment. She's had some terrific matches, so I think this would be really good. Mina Shirakawa, I've never been particularly blown away with her as a wrestler. She seems to be getting by based on her charisma and her aesthetics, which is fine. But I'm not holding my breath for this to be brilliant or anything. But if it is, it will probably be more down to Mercedes Moné, who's been very good recently. So she'll be my pick for the winner of this. Now, that being said, I'm not sure I can see Mercedes Moné defending the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's Championship in the UK.
Showing up at the Copper Box?
Or at the Crystal Palace Convention Centre or York Hall.
Right. No. Little spot show in Camden? No? If they give him time, I think it could be very good. And you're right. She's coming off of a nice little streak she's got going on. When everyone's quick to lay the boots. Yeah. Good crowd.
Good.
Decent It should be good. I mean, I think it'll be good. We'll see.
Yeah, nice little match.
Yeah,
Then we've got the Lucha Gauntlet match, no time limit, up to 8 participants for
God.
New Japan, for CMLL, enter at 1 minute intervals. First pinfall or submission decides the match, so this should be a lot of fun. I mean, I'm not going to make any predictions about who will be involved or who will win.
Naoki Sano, Tatsumi Fujinami.
I think it's going to be Okamura.
Huh, nice.
I'm a little bit disappointed actually that we've not got more from CMLL in this card. It all seems to be concentrated in this match. It was a little bit disappointing because they've had a really good year, and for it all to be crammed into this one match is a bit of a shame. But that said, it should be a really fun match, and I'm low-key, not that low-key, he's not going to be in it. He might be in it. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Who's going to win? Rocky Romero?
I'm about to say, don't be surprised if you see Rocky Romero. I'm just throwing it out there. Yep, perfect.
All right, then we've got the IWGP Tag Champion Decider. So Nicholas Jackson and Matthew Jackson from AEW facing Great-O-Khan and Great-O-Khan's partner, Taguchi. Yep. Anytime it's an X, it is Taguchi. I've no idea who this could be. People thought it might be Templario, who was recruited to United Empire, but apparently he's got a booking on the same day. How about, I'll throw this out here, a guy who just lost his title, Luke Jacobs.
I mean, okay.
It's not doing it for you then.
I mean, I don't know. You kind of wanted to be a little bit more of a name. I think honestly, if Luke Jacobs came out, it would not be a bad addition to a match. I just worry about the who. What am I looking at?
We've got to have some Rev Pro representation here. Michael Oku, I don't know.
That's not him. Down the house.
Okan and Oku. It could be the OK.
You got it. Come on, work it out. You got it. Yeah, I hope it's somebody. Again, in these scenarios, where 9 times out of 10 we're incredibly disappointed, but yeah, make it somebody good. Yeah. Young Bucks
are winning, right?
I want to say no.
They're not eating a pinfall to fucking Great-O-Khan as much as we love him.
I know. You trust me. I'm sure you're right. Come on. Give me a Christmas miracle. Give me a Christmas miracle.
No, not giving you that. Right. Next match, Never Openweight Championship match. So the winner of Takagi versus Takeshita will face the challenger Tomohiro Ishii.
AEW's favorite.
Yeah, I know. I loved that. All the stuff we were being told is that he's too banged up to work a G1. He cannot do 9 consecutive singles matches. There's no way he can hold up physically, and he's fucking running through the meat grinder of AEW matches like week in, week out. Yeah, we sold a fib there. Morning Pro Wrestlers. If Ishii leaves Dynasty as double champ, will he be the first in memory to win a major singles belt in a company where they've completely winless in solo action in their career, 0-10? And Burning Hammer says, with the possibility of Ishii leaving with 2 belts, could that be the sorely missed appreciation of him being an absolute constant in delivering high quality matches, especially with him being in AEW so often recently? I would hope Gedo and Tony decide to do it. There is no chance.
There is no chance.
Ishii is winning. No.
Yeah. Ishii's on the show because he's a hard-hitting guy from 8 years ago when Tony Khan got a boner in fucking Long Beach. I mean, that's where we're at, right? There's no fucking way. If Tomohiro, I'm not going to do a wacky bet, a wacky podcast. I'll eat my shorts. But there's no way. I just can't see it. I would be shocked. It would be hilarious, but honestly, I want him to win now because it would be you want to talk about AEW and having a hand in things? That would be it. That would absolutely be it.
Special singles match, Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd. Armani Shoe Exchange says, what's the most realistic scenario for Gabe Kidd to take the next step, whether that's belts, tournament performances, high-profile matches after the Dome, etc.? What will we consider a success in terms of finally using him to his potential? Morning Progress says, how many titles will one Kenny Omega match wind up costing? IWGP Tag, never global British. And Tim says, how many F-bombs will be dropped by Gabe Kidd this weekend on the show and the backstage comments? I think Gabe Kidd is more frightening when he's quiet and cold and calculated. Rather, I do think a lot of his critics have said this, and I've disagreed with it up until recently. But it to me started to become an issue in the Oiwa match where he started talking shit to someone in the crowd, and that to me detracted from the match and detracted from Oiwa. So I hope he doesn't do that. Like, he needs to be focused on the match here, and if he's sort of in that cold, calculated zone, to me, that is infinitely more menacing than when he's, calling people fuckheads or whatever it is he says. In terms of the booking here, right? Well, first of all, right, massive, massive spot for Gabe Kidd. Like, what a show of faith in the guy and a celebration of how far he's come that he's getting a singles match with Kenny fucking Omega at the Tokyo Dome. We love Tokyo Dome Kenny Omega. Like, New Japan Kenny Omega hits different, and I'm so excited to see what wacky weeb entrance he comes up with. I'm sure it's going to be brilliant. And yeah, just tremendous that Gabe gets this spot in the first place, and just a real sort of feather in his cap for the progress he's made. Now, outcomes. Kenny Omega came out at the pay-per-view and challenged Okada, if I'm not mistaken. So there is no way that Kenny Omega is losing this match. I cannot see it. For all the booking sense that it would make and how great it would be for New Japan and Gabe Kidd, both in terms of sort of credibility and from a narrative standpoint, for Gabe Kidd to win that match, I think we've just got to be grown up about this. We've got to get serious. Kenny Omega is not losing to Gabe Kidd. And even with the best will in the world, when it's someone that Tony Khan sees value in, like when we had the Kenny Omega Will Ospreay match at Wrestle Kingdom, and I think we all kind of knew in the back of our minds that was going to be a gateway to Will Ospreay joining AEW, and so it turned out to be. And you could see all the signs there that Tony Khan was interested in Will Ospreay, because that match was promoted by AEW. Will Ospreay was on AEW programming a lot, and you could just see it happening. It seems at this point that Tony Khan does not have that same level of interest in Gabe Kidd, because I don't even know if they mentioned his name during the broadcast. I know sort of with through gritted teeth they were able to mention that, actually Kenny Omega is having a match at Wrestle Dynasty on January 5th in the Tokyo Dome, but I don't know how often, I don't even know if they mentioned Gabe. So I don't have the same fear there that Gabe Kidd is going to get snapped up by AEW, because I think if he was genuinely interested, we'd have seen that by now. Like, we know the Tony Khan playbook. That could change in the future. He might decide that he wants him, but I just feel that as an act, Gabe Kidd is just a bit too well suited to New Japan at this point. I'm not sure that's something that would necessarily come across as easily. It's not as transferable as a Will Ospreay is, for example.
Yeah.
So in terms of best case scenario here, I think it's really fanciful to expect Gabe Kidd to win this. I think the best we can hope for is that it's competitive, that it's a great match, that Kenny is generous to Gabe Kidd and makes him look strong, and that we sort of go in a similar layout as we did with that Omega Ospreay match at Wrestle Kingdom, whereby we're kind of setting the seeds for a double turn, where Gabe just gets his ass kicked so much that we're doing the Wrestle Kingdom 13 Stone Cold Bret Hart thing, because the Japanese fans, they want to cheer Gabe. They are desperate to cheer Gabe because he is the defender of the company. He is saying all the things that the New Japan fans are thinking. Now, he might be saying it with a few more swear words thrown in there and a way that some people might disagree with, but at the heart of it, he's right. Everything he's saying is correct. New Japan are having their pants pulled down. He is, I believe it when he says that he is, ride or die with New Japan, that the line mark means a lot to him. And at the end of the day, if Tony Khan writes that check, that changes everything. But I don't feel we're there yet. And again, as I've said, I just want to enjoy these guys in New Japan while they're here at the moment. So I don't want to analyze this match through the lens of, oh God, I hope AEW don't tap up Gabe Kidd, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I'm not seeing any evidence so far that it will. So what I want to happen is a great match that kind of flies under the radar a bit. I don't want Tony Khan to be like, oh, hold on a second.
Yeah, what do we got here?
Got something with this guy. Yeah. And I want to just sort of sow those seeds for the Gabe Kidd babyface turn, because I want there to be enough in this match for just like you said with the Shota match, for the fans to see him getting the shit kicked out of him by someone who's way better than him in a kayfabe sense, and start to feel a bit sorry for him, be like, come on Gabe, come on, you can do it. And that to be our kickoff point to do the turn, where I do feel that's coming in 2025. As I said, David Finlay, it was specifically mentioned in that short David Finlay interview on the YouTubes and New Japan World, where he's asked about Gabe Kidd and got a bit spicy about it. So at some point, I feel we are getting the Gabe Kidd's babyface turn, and there is going to be a conflict with Finlay, and this could be a good starting point for it to get that ball rolling.
I want a excuse me. I want a highly competitive match. I would love to see a start, a seed planted, whatever the case may be, by the time this match ends. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those matches where an outside interference or an interference backfires or something along those lines causes Gabe. If this didn't happen, he would have won, right? And Kenny getting out of there, by the skin of his teeth. And that leading to whether that's David Finlay, whether that's whatever the case may be. I'd like to see something start. I'd like to see the match get lit. And, that's where we're going in 2025. What an opportunity, right, for Gabe Kidd. I don't think, aside from Zach and Ricochet, I don't know if there's any other match on this show where people are like, all right, let's fucking go, right? Like this is from a New Japan perspective. I think it'll be a very good match. I'm curious as how the two styles will interplay, because I think there is quite a difference. But I'm more interested in, okay, if in fact we're serious about Gabe Kidd and him being, I can't go so far as to say a baby face, but somebody has to go out of their way to fuck him over, just to kind of get the crowd into the idea of, he was an ass hair away from beating Kenny Omega if it wasn't for fuckface X.
Yeah, or possibly maybe his own choices costing him the match, leading to some internal reflection and character growth. So I think there's a few interesting ways. I think what we're both looking for is growth and development, character development coming out of this one for sure.
Right, and I'm sorry, just because, and I know we will, because again, I think the shtick can run thin, right? The soccer hooligan shtick can run thin. There are times and places, but again, that has a certain shelf life, and I think there needs to be some type of, okay, what's next? Like, what else is in
levels?
This
you need levels to it.
Thank you, levels. Level 42.
We've got a special singles match: Yota Tsuji versus Jack Perry. Look, I mean, Jack Perry was. I enjoyed his novelty run with House of Torture in the New Japan Cup, and I thought he did well to utilize the CM Punk situation to generate a bit of heat for himself. But I don't think there is any value beyond that, and I've got no interest in this match.
Zero.
Nice, easy title defense / rebound match for Yota Tsuji, but that's as far as I'm going to go. I mean, he looks like a junior heavyweight. He's going to look.
He does nothing. Like I don't give a fuck. I honestly, truly, and honestly don't give a flying fuck about Jack Perry. I could care less.
No. Great, let's move on. I'm in the same boat. Special singles match: David Finlay versus Brody King. Again, this is either a comeback match or an easy title defense. I think there's a lot of upside with Brody King, and he's a guy I would just love. Just let New Japan have him for a year or even 6 months, give him the Jonah run, he'd go down great with the New Japan fans. Like, they'd love him. They love a monster. And, we've not really had a proper monster since Lance Archer, I would say. So he's a guy who could fit into that role really nicely. So maybe we could use this as an opportunity to try and get him some more New Japan dates. I don't know. I'm probably getting ahead of myself. This is probably going to be nothing more than just a little
squasheroo
bounce back match. Yeah.
All the things that you said, I would have no problem having him having some type of significant role in the company. It feels weird that this match is even happening. It was just a walkout of the crowd, and saying, "I'm challenging." Okay, well, all right.
Should have been Juice Robinson.
Well, yeah, sure. I think it was her, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was going to be Juice until he got injured.
Yeah. And it's not a bad backup, but it's just a weird spot. Like, I don't think anybody right now, unfortunately, sees Brody King as a guy that's like of that stature of, on the show. That's why this is kind of like this weird in a bubble show. Look, ideally, this leads to more Brody King in New Japan. I'd be down for that. But the reality is that I think this is just a one-off, and we're getting David Finlay a win back.
A good opportunity to showcase David Finlay's strength. I can see some good power spots here where he lifts up Brody King and all the fans go, "Oh, look how strong he is." Moving on. Special singles match, Shota Umino versus Claudio Castagnoli. Now, I'm viewing this through the lens of Shota not having won the main event prior night. I mean, he could have won, and this could be a title defense for him. But I feel that this is a vehicle for some sort of redemption story where he has to go through several members of whatever Jon Moxley's stable is now, and ultimately has to face Moxley himself.
Right.
So, I mean, this could easily be Shota losing again, where he's really lost everything and he reaches his lowest ebb here, and we get Moxley a video package saying, "Look how far you've fallen. You're worthless. You're a million miles away from ever challenging me. You're a disappointment." And then he's got to build his way back to that. But I think more likely Shota wins here and then calls out Jon Moxley, and we sort of build up to him facing Moxley later in 2025 and should be getting a win over him at some point, I feel. I think that's an important part of his journey and his growth as a character.
I would love to see him get a win, right? I would hope he doesn't go 0 for 2 this weekend. If I'm in this position, I would give him the win back. We'll see how AEW's brass would think of that. I think Claudio's a guy that could take a pinfall, though. Yeah, I wouldn't want him to go 0 for 2. I really, if he does lose to Zach, I really would like that to be. Again, he has like the momentum of, if everything in the ideal scenario fantasy booked world came to pass and everybody's now rallying behind Shota, maybe that energy kind of carries over to this night. I hope. I wouldn't want to, again, I think 0 for 2 might be a little overkill. Give him the win here. Over a guy that, quite honestly, I don't think half the people in the crowd would even know who the fuck he is. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. And then a special singles match, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricochet. And again, if we're going in this with the assumption that Zack is champion, then just another nice defense for him against Ricochet, who is a guy that New Japan, like the last New Japan match he wrestled was King of Pro Wrestling 2017, when he was losing the junior heavyweight tag team titles that he was holding together with Taguchi to the newly debuted Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo. So it's, imagine you as a New Japan fan based in Japan, and you only follow that product domestically, and then this guy who you'd last seen, nearly 7 years ago, losing as a junior tag wrestler, losing the belts to a very callow Show and Yo, now coming back and challenging the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. It's quite a jump, isn't it?
Quite a leap, yeah. And again, people grow. They learn a lot when they go outside the promotion and on to other things. Yeah. He's not winning the love of a lot of the AEW supporters. Right?
What is he doing? Is he doing some sort of Andrew Tate thing at the moment?
I think so. I thought that's what I was saying. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he did not get a very warm reception. I didn't know why. I didn't really follow up, but I didn't know why. Like in New York, he was getting hassled and razzed. But I think this match will be awesome. I can't imagine it not being awesome. I mean, look, for a guy, once again, for a guy who was junior tag team champion in his last run at New Japan, to technically now be headlining a dome show, that's pretty cool. You know, he's gonna do some shit. And Zach's great, coming off hopefully a win. Yeah, I think this match will be awesome and a nice way to close out that weekend.
All right. And Gui says, if you had to place a bold bet in terms of somebody getting a push or de-push in 2025, who would that be and why?
Shota. It's got to be Shota. If it's not Shota, we're fucked. I hate to say it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if this weekend turns into a fucking calamity, we're fucked. I'm just saying. I'm just putting out the doomsday scenario. If it doesn't work, we are fucked. But it will work. I have all the faith in the world. But no, that person, Shota, is the guy that you got to hope and pray. They work the magic. Pro wrestling magic. New Japan can do it. Anybody can. Or let me take that back. If anybody can, it's New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many guys I could mention for getting a push this year. Gay Kids, Oiwa,
Yeah.
Fujita.
Yeah.
Even I'm excited to see what we're doing with Oleg Boltin this year. I'm intrigued to see what we're doing with Callum Newman this year as well.
I'm interested in what we do with Takeshita. I'm interested in what we do with fucking Yoda Suji.
Aaron Wolf.
Yeah, yes, sir. The new IWGP World Champion, Aaron Wolf. Yeah. Like I said, like we opened up, like this anxiousness and this. Okay, like I'm pumped. Like there's a lot on the line. There's tons on the fucking line, more than I can really ever remember. And I think when it's all said and done, and we look back and we plant the flag on the shows in just 4 or 5 days, 3 days, it's going to come back and be one of the more significant shows in New Japan's history. It's a crossroads. It's a turning point. And you're here for the ride.
Our friend John Carroll says, any prediction for when we see Youngblood return from excursion in 2025 and what unit they might join? So when do you see Oscar Loiba and Yuto Nakashima returning and a faction for them?
Great question. How about, I'll say, let's do it this way. Do you think before or after Dontaku?
I'd say before. I think the heavyweight tag division needs an injection of something fresh.
I think you're right. Yeah, that would be a nice little landing spot, actually. What faction? I don't know. I'm good at that. Truth to be told, I really don't know.
Hontai, I think just sort of the main New Japan unit, because they don't really have a...
Yeah. How about just 5 guys?
Yes, they become just 7 guys.
Do you think just 5 guys makes it to the end of the year?
No, I don't. I don't think so. I really wish, I can see the reasons why they don't do it, but I wish they would do sort of the Dragon Gate style faction disbat matches. Because just like you could have made some money out of that. Like, for example, Strong Style, you know, that short-lived Suzuki Despi Ren faction.
Yeah.
Could have done something with that rather than just fading away into nothing. Have a match where the unit was put on the line or something. I just feel that they kind of let these things fade away.
Yeah.
Gorillas of Destiny as well. Like you could have done something with that and made it into an event rather than just a backstage thing. Oh, I guess we're not doing this anymore.
Look, I'll throw just a couple words. You don't even need a comment. Bullet Club Civil War.
And yeah, that's my prediction. We're going to get another Bullet Club Civil War this year, but this is going to be actually good this time. I promise. Eric says, what should New Japan's New Year resolution be with respect to A, booking, and B, business / behind the scenes? And which 3 wrestlers do your favourite clothesline / bomber / lariats in current news? So I think business, I would say, don't worry about
US shows.
US shows, yeah. Just drop the strong thing. Just do New Japan shows in the States and just do 3 or 4 of them a year.
Yep.
Just don't worry about it. Don't make it a thing.
I'll say 2. How about that? Do 2.
Yes.
And make them like, again, make them worth something. Like, make them a show that people would want to go to. And I know it's hard for New Japan to do, but book it like announce matches in a little bit in advance. Don't make it a week before the fucking show and you're like, oh, it's this wacky tag match and this match against ROH competitor. You know what I mean? Like make it a true New Japan.
Is my favorite wrestler, actually.
You like him? You think he's got a big upside? I like him too. But you get my point. Like 2 shows, slim down the US shit, and make the shows special again. And don't just run shows to run shows. That would be my advice.
I would also like to see more partnership stuff with CMLL and RevPro.
Okay. All right. See, Fantastic Mania is not enough for you, huh? You need more, huh? Okay.
It's not. No, I want to see these guys coming over for more.
Yeah.
So less in the sort of the bubble, the sort of isolation of Fantastic Mania. I want to see more stuff like Titan joining LIJ. I want to see these guys all through the year, please.
You know what I would like? And I would like New Japan to treat their promotion like it's a sport and have a point person that people can reach out to verify information within the company. Because every other sports organization has that. Every other team has that. Where it's, hey, I'm hearing blah, blah, blah. Can you confirm that? Or is this guy's hurt? What's the story here? Like, have a person that the Super J-Cast can reach out to.
Yeah, I mean, that's us, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yes, but you know what I mean? Like it's, that should be a thing. It really should.
PR person.
Yes. Like, why in 2025 is it such a fucking carny bullshit? Like, and it's not to get scoops with a Z, but it's to have a method to verify information, to confirm information, and you know what? And let us help you, right? And vice versa, right? You help us, we help you. I think that's an important thing. That's one true thing I would love. Instead of us having to go incognito on rogue and people risking their fucking careers. You know what I mean? Like, it's stupid. Stupid. Make that happen. Oh, and fix the fucking website. How about that? Medium.com. Go fuck your mother. All right. Where are we?
End of there.
All right. Enjoy Wrestle Kingdom, everybody.
Hi, I'm Andrew Rich, and if you're like me, you look at the state of modern wrestling discourse and think, wow, what a cesspool. That's why I'm here to tell you about Music of the Mat Remix. That's right, your favorite wrestling music podcast is back with a new format, where I bring on a guest and we play songs related to wrestling-themed topics. It could be a wrestling reference, a wrestling concept, a wrestling pun, things of that nature. Now you might be saying, Andrew, that is a very, very tenuous connection to pro wrestling. on a wrestling podcast network. Is this just an excuse to hang out with your friends and talk about music and ignore the rest of the wrestling landscape? Yes. Yes, it is. So listen to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice.